The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
This is Christine Langley with the Wyoming Women's Business Center, and I want to welcome you to Basics of Sales Taxes in QuickBooks. The Wyoming Women's Business Center is a nonprofit organization that helps people who want to start or expand small businesses specifically in the state of Wyoming. And we do that through 3 different programs. The first is business training and one-on-one counseling. The second is through access to capital, using our microloan program or our individual development accounts programs. And then lastly, we have a professional artist development center. So this QuickBooks training series is brought to you by our microloan program, which was started to provide access to funds for those unable to get business loans through traditional means. And so if you'd like more information on our microloan program, please contact Waldo Smith. And now I'd like to turn it over to Derek Campbell with Capital Clarity Company. Welcome, Derek.
Thanks, Christine. As Christine mentioned, today I want to just touch on the basics of sales taxes before I get into any of the details in either QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online. So if you're looking for more of the intricate features of either one of those softwares, stick around for one of the next videos. But this, I want to just give a basic overview of what sales taxes are, and I'll preface this by saying, since we're working with the Wyoming Women's Business Center, I'm going to tailor this specifically to the state of Wyoming and keep it pretty general. Keep in mind that sales taxes are a state and local tax, and the laws are pretty different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So if you think you might be subject to sales tax in another jurisdiction outside of the state of Wyoming, then I would recommend contacting the appropriate agency within your state to ask more questions or for more details regarding that. So to get started, what is sales tax? Sales tax is an excise tax or a tax on consumption, which is applied to retail sales, leases of tangible personal property, admission fees, and even some services which are subject to taxation per Wyoming law. So the purchaser pays the tax to the vendor, and then vendors must a license and are responsible for collecting and then remitting that tax back to the state. So to get a little deeper, we really want to understand what is tangible personal property. The biggest definition is going to be tangible personal property is defined in part as personal property which may be seen, weighed, measured, felt, touched, or which is in any other manner perceptible to the senses. So that's a pretty high level definition of personal property. The best way to think about it is if you're selling a product, it's probably subject to sales taxes. So when do you need to get licensed as a vendor? So per the state of Wyoming, any person who meets the definition of a vendor must license to collect and remit sales tax. This is per Wyoming statutes. So a vendor means any person engaged in the business of selling at retail or wholesale tangible personal property, admissions, or services which are subject to taxation. A vendor also includes a vehicle dealer as defined by Wyoming state statute. I also want to point out that this definition encompasses those who open an online business in Wyoming. If your business is providing taxable products or services, you must obtain a sales tax license and follow all the statutes that apply to storefront businesses. So how do you collect? So sales tax is due at the end of the month following the end of your filing period. Sales tax is due when the sale takes place and is not based off when the vendor receives payment. So for the most part, and there are a few exceptions to this, but for the most part, the standard for sales tax remittance is on an accrual basis rather than a cash basis. So keep that in mind. That may mean that you're upfronting some cash for sales tax even before you collect it from your customer. For more questions on that, definitely want to contact the Wyoming Department of Revenue or your applicable jurisdiction. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what rate do you want to charge. So the time and the place of the sale is what's going to determine the applicable sales tax to charge on your sales. So any sales made at the vendor's business location are taxed at the rate in effect at the location of the vendor's business. If your property is sold and is to be shipped to the purchaser, regardless of shipping terms, and that purchaser is located in another Wyoming county, the appropriate tax to charge is the tax rate in effect in the county of the purchaser. So if I'm in Albany County and I'm shipping to a customer in Natrona County, I'm going to charge Natrona County sales tax rates on the sale. If the property is to be shipped to a location outside of the state of Wyoming, sales tax is not due in Wyoming. The state of Wyoming is going to view that as an interstate sale, and it's going to be subject to applicable sales taxes in the state where the property is destined. So that's just kind of a quick basic overview of sales taxes, specifically in the state of Wyoming. Like I said, stay tuned, and I'm going to show you how to set up and track your sales taxes in QuickBooks so you can make this process a little easier for you. And with that, I'll pass it back to Christine.
All right, thanks, Derek. So the Wyoming Women's Business Center is made possible through several partnership agencies, and our primary funding comes from the U.S. Small Business Administration and the Wyoming Business Council. And so we thank them and all of our other supporters. If you'd like more information on the Wyoming Women's Business Center, you can contact any business counselor listed on your screen here. And again, if you have an interest in our microloan program, please contact Waldo Smith. Thanks for joining us today.